Welcome, viewers, to another episode of Jolene Surviving a Zombie Apocalypse. I want to thank everyone for joining me for episode 6, and I'm really excited about this episode just from the progress that I've seen from our viewers. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the zombie apocalypse preparation team that you need to be able to survive. As we discussed during week 1, you're not going to do this on your own. You have to put a team together. You are going to have to practice with your equipment. You're going to have to assign roles, responsibilities. You will perform the way you practice. So it's important that you start practicing now. So if you just a quick flashback, one of the things that we discussed are picking team members. You want it to be people that are going to be in your vicinity when apocalypse happens. It will not benefit you to pick someone in another country. They're not going to be there. So your friends, your coworkers, your family, you're going to start looking for people to be part of that team. And as promised, we're going to talk about what kind of things you need to look for. You should start now analyzing all the people around you. And you're going to put them into certain categories. And those will be the roles that they kind of feel when the zombie apocalypse happens, because I think we all agree it's going to happen. I truly believe we are already seeing the start of it. Last zombie attack, 2002, St. Thomas. You all can go look it up after this and you'll see what I'm talking about. We need to go ahead. For me, I'm concerned about, I need to be beefing up where I'm at with my zombie preparation team. So some of the roles you need to look for, you need to find people that can be leaders. That means they can rally people together. They can inspire confidence. I'm not talking about bossy people. I'm not talking about people that sit there while you have you feed them grapes. You need true leaders on your team if you're going to survive. You want to look for managers. These are the people that can organize, prioritize, and manage not just the workload, but the people. A lot of times the work's easy. It's the people that are hard. So you want people that can do that. You want to find thinkers. That means your analysts, people that can see the big picture. Somebody that can look at the community as a whole and think of how think things through. As I go through this, I want you to think of it in terms of a pyramid. I'm going through it in order. You want fewer at the top, and as we get into these, you want more of those. If you have a lot of thinkers, you're not going to have a lot of doers. So that's what you have to think about when you're planning. Experts. We're talking about subject matter experts, whether it's scientists, technicians, handyman, do-it-yourself people, innovate. You want people that are experts in key areas that we're going to discuss in just a moment. And it's really important. You don't have to have one person per area. You can have a person that's an expert in several things. I just always recommend a backup plan. Sometimes your experts may not be the best fighting off zombies, and they might become zombie fodder. So you want to know, like, not just one person holds the key. You want to make sure more than one person. So that's why we train. You can have an expert, but you need to have backup plans. Fighters. That means people that can make up your security force, provide protection, good with defense, good with weapons. So you want to have fighters in your group. And last, definitely not least, because you want the most of these, you want the workers. You need the worker bees. These are the people that get the job done, whether it's through brute force, strength, determination, the motivation. You need someone that's going to do it, whether it's the smaller jobs. Sometimes it's more important to have somebody determined to get it done than just knowing how to do it. Some people know how to do it, but they'll never do it. So what areas are you wanting to look for your experts? And again, sometimes your expert's also going to be your worker bee. This is one of those takes a village kind of thing. So let's hear from some of our viewers. What do you think are some areas you want to consider? And let's think big picture. What areas are we going to look at? Because everyone you meet from this point forward, you need to start categorizing them. Is this a fighter? Is this an analyst or thinker? Is this an expert? Would this be a manager? Is this a worker bee? You also want to start asking people more about their hobbies, or they think that you're just being polite in conversation, but truly you're picking that team. You don't want to just do necessarily an open call. You want to do it more in a controlled environment or at least have some kind of buffer so that when the zombies show up, people aren't running to you trying to get you to save them, or that you get so inundated that you find you can't filter through all the people wanting to be part of your team. And then instead of being able to focus on quality, you've got quantity. Quantity doesn't always work. So let's look at some areas that you want to think about for experts, and think about the sciences. People that might be good with biology, chemistry. Somebody's got to purify the water. You don't want people mixing things together that shouldn't be mixed together. Having a chemist in your group might be a good idea to make explosives. Eventually, you are want to go blow some stuff up. You might have to make your own medicine. You might want to know how to filter things. These aren't necessarily people that went to college, have a degree, just people that are familiar with it. It may be a hobby that they have. People good with livestock. We're not talking pets. Please go back and watch the prior episodes. We don't have pets in the zombie apocalypse. What we have is food. If they're big enough, transportation. So you want people that know how to raise and maintain livestock. They're going to have to repopulate them. Somebody's going to have to pull the wagon. So horses, oxen, people that know animal husbandry, or at least familiar with it. Not very exciting, but administration. Somebody's going to have to do the record keeping and the coordination. There's always a guard roster. Some people like doing it, some people don't, but you want people that are familiar with that. Architecture. So we're talking about carpentry, be able to, put up buildings, repair things. Like, you got to think about people that at least have an awareness that you have a carpenter in your group. Amazing. Military strategy. A lot of people would say you should think about somebody familiar with criminal justice, but during the zombie apocalypse, I'm all for martial law. That's the way it's going to have to go. But military strategy means they know how to set up a defense, how to set up an offense. They're going to help organize security forces. A lot of times, this person can be good. What kind of weaponry you need to have, what kind of plans you need to make, because eventually you're going to have to go on the offense and not just defense. So you want to also think about infrastructure. Think about people that are good with construction, because somebody's got to do urban planning. Eventually, we're going to have roads, bridges, repair the buildings. These are people that are familiar with this are going to be a great help. Medical care is another. Again, you might not be able to find a doctor that wants to be on your team. Not all of us are that fortunate, or they may not survive, but at least someone that's familiar with medical care, whether it's they were a paramedic, an EMT, a nurse, watched a lot of TLC or Discovery Channel, a dentist. People don't always think about that, but dentists went to make great medical technicians in a zombie apocalypse. So also you want to think about be it someone who's expert with agriculture, farming, crops, land management. That's important because you're going to have to eat. Resource management. Somebody familiar with food storage processes, water storage processes, maybe solar energy, logistics, how to arrange transportation, how to get things to and from. Once you have your little area secure, unless you're, we've already talked about neighbors that may be jerks, but you might want to reach out to other communities. So having people that are good with this resource management. If you watch SpongeBob, you don't want to eat all your chocolate bar right off the bat. Somebody's got to know how to do conservation. Engineering. Again, it doesn't have to be the person with an engineering degree. You want someone that is familiar with those fields, mechanics, so that people can repair things, electricians, people that are good with communications, radio frequencies. Again, energy could tie into this. So you want some people that are some kind of jack of all trades that can do this. If you can find one person that is that jack of all trade, great addition to your zombie prep team. Psychology. A lot of people overlook this, but the truth is it's going to be difficult coping with the zombie apocalypse. Your couple of family members, you're going to have to put stakes through their brain. You're going to have to cut off their heads. And sometimes you might have problems with that. You might have problems putting down a pet or two that you weren't supposed to have. I find that will be one of the greatest sources of comfort when you think that person isn't a person. That's a zombie. They don't have a soul. Not going to bother you so much cutting off their head. And also culinary. While having food stored is great, knowing how to prepare the food, cook the food, store the food, not give you food poisoning, those are great things. No one likes salmonella. No, chicken cannot be made into sushi. You can't eat chicken raw. So having someone familiar with those, or having more than one person familiar with that, is really important. So let's hear from some of yours. What are some of the things you want to avoid with your zombie apocalypse preparation team? Because, of course, we don't want certain either personality types or characteristics, because they will bring you down from the inside. There's enough people outside, or zombies outside, trying to get you. You don't want it to come down from you. So let's talk about that. Blame shifters, also known as liars. Was it their fault? You don't need that. You need someone to take ownership. You need someone that they can't do it, they let you know. They don't make excuses, because the maximum firing range of an excuse is 0 meters. We don't accept excuses on my zombie apocalypse preparation team or my survival team. Whiners. I don't take criers. I don't take naggers. I don't take complainers, because you got to get the job done. The last thing you need is someone spreading discontent within your survival team. Some other characteristics. Again, I'd love to hear some suggestions from the viewers. Cannibals. Yes, I can understand not wanting cannibals. That is a great suggestion. Lazy people. I actually have a hammock in my backyard. What people think, oh, that's great. Actually, people don't realize that's step 1 of my interview. You come over, you get in my hammock. I know you're lazy. You're not on my zombie survival team. Done. Also, control freaks. It's a fine line between managing people and being a control freak. Control freaks don't know how to improvise. And that's the last thing you need, because chances are you won't have exactly 2.5 cups of sugar. Chances are you can't actually put that at that exact temperature. So you don't need control freaks. We actually have another role for them that we'll discuss at the end. People that are paranoid. I want you to be prepared. Prepare to live, and live to prepare. That's what we say. Stay alert, stay alive. You want people to be prepared. You want them to be suspicious, but you don't need them to be paranoid, because then it makes other people either paranoid or makes people stop listening. Because if somebody always thinks they hear a zombie, people kind of get immune to it. You don't need somebody crying wolf. Egomaniacs. They tend to be loud. They tend to, if it's not their idea, they don't want to hear it, and you don't need that. They will bring you down from the inside. As again, we'll discuss a good role for if you've already assembled your team and some of these characteristics come out. I'll tell you what we'll do with those. Gossips. There is no place. If you have time to gossip, you got time to do more work. That's the way I look at it. I don't need gossips, because I need hard workers in my group. People that are not narcissistic. Contrary to popular belief, the zombie apocalypse was not about you. These zombies aren't here just for you. They're here for everybody's brain. Other characteristics that you may want to avoid in your team. Backstabbers. That we don't do mutinies. We don't do coups. There's enough things out there trying to eat our brains and enough people trying to get us. We don't need that. So if you find someone's a backstabber, again, martial law. In times of war, death. Again, you don't need people that are paranoid. People that are like, did we already hear this? Did we already discuss this? Or did this person know what they're doing? I think they're not sure what they're doing. You don't need this in your group. You have this is the last. If you find somebody that's paranoid, again, we'll discuss what we're going to do with them. Or people that are insecure. I can understand when you first come on the team, maybe you're a little bit unsure of what to do. Maybe they need a little bit of confidence. But that's the reason we're practicing as a team and planning as a team. And if you find they're still insecure, then they're not going to help with your team. They're not going to be able to step up and be a leader or a manager if a leader or a manager falls. You don't need to be dragging around, I hate to say dead weight, but insecure people end up being dead weight. When you see people with these characteristics come out, we got another name for them, another role they can play, and it's called fodder. The zombies have to eat somebody. It turns out backstabbing, gossiping, lying, paranoid brains tastes pretty good. And somebody's got to sometimes take one for the team. So that is what I would recommend. one of the reasons I loved, again, covering this topic is I'm now ready to expand my team. I've seen a lot of potential in my viewers, in discussions with a lot of my fans. I see people that aren't part of a team yet that would make a great addition. If you think that you have what it takes to be on my zombie apocalypse survival team, then I'm going to encourage you to either send a short video, send your resume, a quick email, and let us know what those characteristics are. I may automatically add you to the team, or it may come down that we schedule an interview with you so I can learn more about it. Also, I want to encourage my viewers, people that are out there that you think might be a good addition to my zombie survival team, send in a short video of them describing their skills or tell me what their skills are. And again, you can send that information to alivechurchnextgen@gmail.com. I'm really excited because with some of the information that I've given over these past 6 weeks, I'm really hoping that we can use this to expand the team. Next week, I want to do a couple of interviews with some potential new members, and that could be you. Again, I want to thank you all for joining Jolene Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse. If you've not watched the previous videos, please go to our YouTube channel for AYM and watch some of the earlier ones so that you know what kind of skills that I'm requiring or looking for. Thank you all again for joining us, and I encourage everyone, resume, interview videos, list of your skill sets. Please send them to alivechurchnextgen@gmail.com. See you all next week.